So what are some of the things you're looking forward to doing down in Springfield besides sitting and waiting for leaders to call you for a vote? And
Well, anyone that knows Chris Welch knows that, I'm very passionate about anything I get involved in. And, I've been campaigning for quite a while now, and people are telling me, hey, they need jobs. They need jobs, jobs, jobs. So that's one of the things I'm going to go down there and be passionate about. They're going to get tired of me talking about jobs from my community. Education, spending 10 years on a school board, you can't help but be passionate about education and the things that affect our schools. I think education funding is a major issue that has to be addressed in our state. Illinois ranks 49th out of 50th in how we fund our schools, and we're supposed to perform miracles.
40th out of 50 when it comes to state funding.
It's 49th.
49th when it comes to state funding. So 40th even when you consider local sources of funding?
That's correct.
Really?
Right.
Oh.
49th out of 50. And
49th out of 50 when you consider state sources.
49th out of 50 when you consider all sources.
Okay.
It's awful.
Okay.
And
now there's an interesting thing that's going to be going on with regard to funding of pensions. Some of the legislative leaders and the governor have hinted that they, well, more than hinted, have indicated that one of the issues on the table is going to be to require local school districts to pay the employer portion of the pension contributions. How is that going to affect 209?
Oh, that would destroy school districts. I don't think they're going to move that forward. I know that was floated out there, but something like that would destroy school districts. School districts across this state are already dealing with massive deficits and things of that nature. Proviso, fortunately for us, for the last 4 years we've had balanced budgets, but it was a struggle to get there. When I first got on board in 2001, we were running major deficits. At one point we got up to a $14 million deficit, but fortunately in 2007 again we got our first balanced budget in over a decade, and we've had 4 balanced budgets in a row. And schools have different funds. Just like at home you have a checking account and a savings account, and we have different funds. Some of our funds are still running deficits, but overall we're still balanced. And when you start passing on that type of responsibility to a local school district, where are we going to get the money for that?
Wouldn't they have to consider providing an increase in the levy for the pension responsibility portion?
I think they would have to consider something like that, Barrett. But, before I came here tonight, I was at a property tax relief forum in the village of Broadview. There was nowhere for people to stand, nowhere for people to park.
Right.
People are bleeding.
Right.
In their property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So if the state passed that on to the local municipalities or to the school districts and gave us the ability to raise people's taxes, that's just going to hurt them even more.
Right.
I think the state has to seriously take a look at some hard decisions that they have to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the property tax is the way to do it. I think one of the things that they have to look at is changing our income tax structure. Illinois is one of 7 states that has a flat tax structure. And I think that's what's wrong with our system. I think that's the fundamental flaw in the system. We're one of 7 states out of 50 states that has a flat tax as opposed to a progressive or a graduated tax.
Right.
It's the same
So
thing.
it hurts the people at the bottom the most.
Absolutely. It's exactly what President Obama's been talking about, for the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
You make those that can afford it pay more.
Right.
My wife and I are both attorneys. We're blessed and fortunate. What I'm talking about, we'll probably pay more taxes than someone else who can't afford to.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things you can do when you have a progressive tax structure and you can fund schools and pensions out of the income tax, you can lower the property tax. Because right now, the property tax is being used to kind of be the heavy burden right now.
Yeah.
And it's just hurting people. What I saw tonight before I got here, it was sad.